So today we're going to be doing the box to pot assembly video for our newest model, the 3DP9. We have a video describing the differences on the newest model, link in the description below. So let's start with the unpacking of the printer. So you receive the printer, and first we got to take everything out of the box. Always do an inspection when you get everything out of the box, untape everything. Save your documentation on the side. It comes with an instruction manual. And always try and save your box and foam if you ever have to ship it back for repairs. This is the easiest and most assured way that if the printer comes back, it'll come back intact. With every printer, we include a packing list. So you can double check as you're unpacking, make sure that you have all the items needed for your printer as you unpack it. Undo that. And once again, save all of the foam in the off chance you have to ship the printer back for repairs in the future. All right, and now that we have the printer unpacked and we know we have everything based on our packing list, we are going to remove all the protective tape. We put tape on the limit switches to prevent them from getting caught as you're unpacking and potentially damaged. We also put tape on all of the connectors for the motor to prevent any foreign materials from entering. First thing we want to do when we're assembling it is gather all of our proper tools inside the parts box. There will be a set of Allen keys and a ram driver. So first thing we want to do is install the backplate. And you'll see that we have these 4 screws here. Now we're going to reinstall this. And it's very important to start these by hand without any tools. And I like to, as I'm starting this, just hang this over an edge so that a table is not influencing the set. And get all 4 of these started by hand before you take any tools to them. These are very important for setting the leveling of the machine. And we preset that in the factory along with the wheels. So as long as these are installed correctly, you won't have to do any extra work. Now we have all 4 of those started. We can come in with a hand tool and start tightening them down. Always tighten caddy cornered. So do one corner, get it most of the way tightened, and then come in on the bottom corner, opposed to it. And bring that in before you begin tightening the other ones. This ensures that the alignment will be correct. Alright, so now we will be installing the X-rail and the duet harness. There are screws provided already in the correct locations. And you're just going to screw these into the square nuts that are held in place on the rail. These only need to be tight enough to hold it there. They're not load bearing or anything. Now we're going to turn our machine around. and load that under there. And this grommet is designed to fit right in this slot. The X-rail might be twisted. Follow along the break in the harness to make sure that it's not twisting. If it's twisting, it will not seat correctly, and it will cause your machine to ruin prints. So untwist this before you start printing and verify that you have a straight line all the way across. Once again, we're going to start these by hand, lining them up, and then caddy corner them to tighten them. Giving one last final tightening of the screws there. And now, align your printer up, and we can start installing the bat and the covers. So, I'm going to untape these to show the screws that hold them on. Now we will start installing the covers here, and you'll need a 3mm Allen key for these. The X-rail cover with the cutaway goes here, lines up with the wires. Then the motor cover goes on like so. It's just held in by Velcro. Alright, so install this cover here. Install our white ABS cover like so. Fits neatly into these two slots right here. And then we're going to install the Y-rail cover. Fitting this nicely into these slots here. And then securing it down with our M3 Allen key. The purpose of the Y-rail cover is to prevent clay from getting on the rails and getting jammed in the cars, which will inhibit the machine. You can watch a machine service video done by us. The link is down in the description below. Next, we're going to connect the wires for the machine. Turn this around like this. So, first we need to connect the Z-rail motor. There's two little tabs on here. Make sure that these tabs fit into these slots, and make sure that it's secured. Make sure that you're also holding your wire harness at a spot where there's no tension on this, or as little tension as possible. And now that we have it secured there, and we know it's in a good position, take the zip ties that we provide in the box, run it through here. And zip tie these on. Now we're going to be installing the Y-rail. And here, this motor plug plugs in right there. And you can see the teeth again on this one. Plug it in right here. And in some cases, your Z will have a motor like this instead. You're going to install it just like that. There are two holes right here that you can use to screw in the power plug so that it can never come out. And then after we get those installed, we're going to install the limit switch. And once again, has nice little tabs for you to follow. So your X-rail already has everything installed in it, so you don't have to worry about that. Now we're coming up to the extruder, which what you want to do for that one is align that. Grab another one of the zip ties we provide for you and install it like so. Okay. And then plug in your Z limit switch. Now that we have all the wires in, we can recenter our machine. Alright, so now when we're dealing with the extruder, after you've loaded up a fully loaded tube of clay and installed the nozzle, Now, once we have the anti-rotator installed, we're going to take the screws provided with the anti-rotator and install them right here. They don't need to be tight. They just need to be installed. They're essentially acting as pins. Now, we install the extruder. Latch it on there, and then close the latch, and make sure to install this with the Velcro while the power is off, or you will cause arcing to the stepper motors. Okay, now we're going to install the last of the covers. It's installed with a piece of Velcro right there. This limit switch wire gets run through right there, and it Velcros right to that. Sits just like so. Now we're going to be installing the bat. Way to do this is there's two square nuts inside the rail here. We're going to line up the M5/8 with those two square nuts. It's best to line one up and get it mostly tightened down, then bring the other one into position above it. And then you want to line it up with a Sharpie mark that we left on the rail here. Right there. You want to line it up with that, and then tighten it down one at a time, and the bat's installed.
Now that the printer is powered on, it is broadcasting its own Wi-Fi network, which we need to connect to control the printer. We're going to open our wireless connections and see that it is broadcasting its own Wi-Fi network. In this case, it's a version 9 printer, so it is 3DP9 for 3D Potter 9. The default password for our printers is numbers 1 through 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're connected to the printer, we need to open a web browser and type in the printer's address, which is 192.168.42.14. Now we have full control of the printer. We're going to start by homing all the axes to make sure the printer is operational. Next, we should run our center test program, which is going to be under the G-code files. We're going to run the print start location so we can find out where we need to place the extruder on the arm. This print start location will move the Z arm all the way down and move the bat to the center. You can then adjust the height of the extruder. It is important to make sure that you don't let the extruder crash into the bed. You should have a few millimeters of in between the nozzle and the bed. You can do this by using some paper shims or just visually inspecting it. Next, we're going to rehome the Z to bring it back up, and then we will run a prime program to prime the extruder. Starting the prime program. The prime program continuously runs and does not stop. You will have to either cycle power on the machine or hit the emergency stop button. This may take a while, as depending on where the position of your cylinder is in the extruder, it could take a bit for pressure to build up and for clay to come out. Clay is now coming out. We can now hit the emergency stop button and have the motor stop. We are now ready to run a test print. In this case, we're just going to run a simple test cylinder. When prints start, the machine will home and then move into position and then start extruding. To get a good surface, you may need to add a little bit of water, just a few drops, or smear some clay around on the bat to have the first few layers adhere correctly. With the print running, we have full control of the machine. Here you can see the speed slider, which we're now going to move up to 200%. Which will increase the speed of the print. You can also lower the speed all the way down to 20%. The flow rate out of the nozzle for this speed setting matches the speed of the bat. You don't have to worry about extra extrusion when you increase or decrease the speed. Increasing the speed increases the movement of the bat and of the extrude rate. The extruder control increases the extrude rate by itself. Moving it all the way up will increase the flow rate, but the speed of the bat will continue to be the same. From the G-code file menu, you can also upload your own files to print as well. When you are done printing for the day, you should cover the nozzle with a little bit of tape to prevent any clay from drying out.